Good day, everyone. Welcome to the second part of our presentation. Again, I'm Janel Yamado from Group 1, and together with my group mates Irene Candelaria, Danica David, Francesca Flores, and Ezra Zena Rosa, will now be presenting about Petron Corporation. Just to give you a brief background about one of the major suppliers of Cebu Pacific, Petron Corporation, otherwise known as Petron, is a Philippines-based company engaged in the refining of crude oil and the marketing and distribution of refined petroleum products. Petron Corporation was incorporated in the Philippines in 1966 as Esso Philippines Incorporated. In addition, Petron sells its products through an across-the-nation network of service stations, LPG dealerships, and lube outlets, and to industrial end users and bulk off-takers.
Among the many suppliers of oil for Cebu Pacific Air is Petron. Currently, Petron is the only remaining crude oil refiner in the Philippines which operates in Bataan. From a general perspective, Petron plays a significant role in the Philippine market. Based on the average utilization in 2019, Petron supplied about 30% of the total Philippine demand, giving the country 3 months reprieve in case of an abrupt international supply disruption. Having said this, Petron Corporation's refinery is indeed a strong asset for the Philippines.
Moving on to the COVID-19 impact on Petron. According to Argus Media, last August 2020, Shell permanently shut down its Batangas refinery due to regional oversupply and the impact of COVID-19 pandemic. Fast forward to January 2021, Petron also temporarily shut down their $3.5 billion refinery in Bataan, leaving the Philippines with no choice but to rely on imports. The reason for this closure is primarily due to the uneven playing field between oil importers and refiners, which Petron experiences as part of the industry. This issue regarding uneven playing field will be discussed more towards the end of our presentation, but to give a gist of what happened, the taxes on crude oil were increased in early 2020. To be exact, Argus Media stated that President Duterte imposed an additional 10-piece import tax on crude and products in May to help fund its COVID-19 costs. This then led to increased costs for Petron.
Now we proceed to employing workers. The regulating body for employees in Petron is their Human Resources Management Department or HRMD. Petron's HRMD has implemented programs in line with the following objectives. First is enhancing employee awareness of company support, performance challenges, strategic plans, and employee interaction with higher management. HRMD conducted employee assemblies which kept the employees informed about significant company developments and enabled them to interact with higher management. In addition to the assemblies, it embarked on the video feed program. Through this program, employees are not only updated on vital company information, but are also provided with news briefs, video clips of employees' participation in work-related projects, experiences, and accomplishments. The information and stories are viewed by all Petron employees in all locations through their computers and video-capable mobile phones. The video feed program has been recognized by the International Association of Business Communicators, Philippines, when it conferred 2 Gold Quill Awards for Employee Electronic Interactive Communications and Employee Member Communications. In addition, a discussion of the company benefits for employees and their dependents has become a regular feature in the official newsletter Petron News. The next objective, enhancing leaders' competencies, mindset, and management style on goal-setting execution, coaching, and relationship building. This was achieved through conducting training programs on the 21 irrefutable laws of leadership, trainers training, and leading the service team. Third objective is enhancing employees' competencies. This was done through the conducting of various training programs like customer-oriented selling, project management, living competences, an hour with a champion, etc. The program on an hour with a champion also received the Gold Quill Award of Merit. The last objective is enhancing camaraderie among employees and promoting work-life balance. To address this objective, several sports tournaments were organized. HRMD also conducted the Fuel Service Excellence workshops for the company's business partners. like their dealer, security personnel, receptionists, telephone operators, and building maintenance personnel. Now, let's take a look at some of the available jobs in Petron. The first one is an area sales executive. An area sales executive carries out effective marketing and selling of company products in his specific area of assignment. They also promote and nurture strong relationships with key customers. The job requirements for this position are indicated on the slide. The next one is an area engineer. An area engineer implements service station maintenance, repair and construction projects, and monitors performance of preventive maintenance of contractors. The job requirements are once again listed on the slide. The third one is a depot engineer. A depot engineer assists in supervising and controlling the entire depot operations. The job requirements for this position are listed on the slide. The next one is a depot technician or clerk. They are responsible for ensuring prompt and efficient deliveries of products in the depots. The job requirements for this position are listed on the slide. The next one is an IT specialist. The primary function of the IT specialist is to analyze the business process information requirements of the proponent, develop corresponding IT application systems, and configure off-the-shelf software systems to meet the said requirements. They will also create technical specifications and develop programs to address software gaps in end-user requirements. Lastly, they are also responsible for prototyping, testing, data design, and cross-system interface development. The job requirements for this position are listed on the slide. Next is an accountant or financial analyst. They are responsible for the preparation of various management reports, particularly financial statements. The requirements for this job are listed on the slide. The next one is a planning analyst. They are responsible for developing short-term and long-term marketing or corporate plans and strategies, as well as evaluating, monitoring of programs, investments, and budgets. They also consider alignment and attainment of overall marketing and corporate objectives. The requirements for this job are listed on the slide. The last one is a procurement associate. They have two main functions. The first one is to procure assigned item or services at the most competitive terms and ensure timely delivery of required services while complying with the company's purchasing policies and procedures. The second one is they review purchase requests, communication with vendors and proponents, review process, negotiation of price and terms, suitability and availability of services. The job requirements for this position are listed on the slide. It is also noteworthy that Petron offers good benefits for its employees according to multiple accounts by both former employees and current employees of the company, though the company seems to have a low rate for annual increase. This data is taken from Glassdoor. Petron provides safe work conditions and promotes the development and best use of employee talent and equal opportunity employment.
Moving on to enforcing contracts, according to Petron's annual corporate governance report, Petron has a policy incorporated in the corporate governance manual that requires the board to encourage the use of alternative modes of dispute resolution for amicable settlement of conflicts or differences between the company and its stockholders and the company and third parties, including regulatory authorities. Basically, the company encourages negotiations with stockholders, third parties, and regulatory bodies to settle differences. To be more exact, it is stated in the alternative dispute resolution between the corporation and stockholders that Petron has its Office of the Corporate Secretary, Investor Relations Unit under the CFO, and Stock Transfer Agent to reply to concerns of stockholders. Between the company and third parties, the company also agreed, under certain contractual agreements, to resolve issues through alternative modes of dispute resolution besides litigation such as arbitration. Lastly, between the company and regulatory authorities, the company works closely with relevant government agencies and maintains strong lines of communication with them. Moving on to Petron's services, through more than 1,200 service stations, the largest in the country,
Petron retails gasoline, diesel, and kerosene to motorists and public transport operators. Petron also sells its LPG brand gasoil to households and other consumers through an extensive dealership network.
Now, Petron operates a state-of-the-art lube oil blending plant at Pandacan Oil Terminals where it manufactures lubes and greases. These are also sold through Petron service stations and sales centers. As for the distribution of refined products from the Limay refinery, Petron enters into a contract with barges, tankers, and tank trucks. For accountability, it is stated in the terms of the applicable contracts that the third-party owners of the contracted barges and tankers and tank trucks that are used to haul the company's products are liable for losses and environmental issues that may arise while the products are being transported. Petron is also expanding its non-fuel businesses, which include its convenience store brand Treats. They have partnered with major fast food chains, coffee shops, and other consumer services to give its customers a one-stop full-service experience. Petron is also putting up additional company-owned and company-operated service stations in strategic locations. In line with Petron's efforts to increase its presence in the regional market, it exports various petroleum products to Asia-Pacific countries such as Cambodia, Korea, China, and Australia. It is important to know that Petron has been involved in a few legal proceedings in the past, some of which were against the Commissioner of Internal Revenue for tax deficiency. However, CIR's petition has been denied due to lack of merit. Other cases against the CIR had varying outcomes. As you can see on the slide, here are a few examples of the cases Petron had to face.
Lastly, as for tax payments, originally Petron was subject to pay taxes twice, both for finished products and its crude oil imports upon landing. To be exact, they are subject to 12% input value-added tax on crude oil imports, which they refine and sell as pump products, and another 12% output value-added tax plus excise tax on refined products. In addition to this, Petron faces a lot of risk whenever they import crude, as they have to deal with peso-dollar risk, inflation risk, cost of money risk, warehousing costs, refining costs, and cost of freight and insurance. Given this tax payment scheme, Petron Corporation's president and CEO Ramon Ang complained that the company is competing in an uneven playing field since other oil importers of refined fuel only pay tax after sales. Because of this call, the Congress has recently ratified the Corporate Recovery and Tax Incentives for Enterprises or CREATE Bill last February 6, 2021. This gives Petron Corporation a lifeline, exempting petroleum refineries from taxes and duties on crude oil imports. Under this CREATE bill, crude will only be imposed value-added tax and duties once removed from the refinery. With this bill now in place, the aforementioned uneven playing field is settled as tax treatment becomes fair for Petron and other direct importers of crude oil.
Thank you for listening to our report on Petron. Have a nice day!